This week on Now Here with Chris and Kell.
We're heading into the entrance of the channel. It's right up here. We're going to pass a boat called Cleopatra's Nutsack, which is weird because that's a little known fact that she had one. She kept it in her little purse next to her cat.
Oh.
Today we leave Ensenada Grande. I'm gonna miss it. This is a great place. This is where I speared my first fish with a pole spear, man. Anyway, I digress. We're gonna pick up. My only concern at this point is this guy might be right over the top of our anchor. What's nice is Kelly will be able to see exactly where our anchor goes because that's it laying on the ground. Pretty obvious.
I guess I'm ready, but I'm kind of nervous about this.
I think it'll be fine. If we get close, there's people on board, there are generators going. So just, like say, hey, just hail them. And if I need to talk to them, I can pop out. But I gotta control the boat, so.
Okay.
We'll be fine.
I don't think they speak English either.
We fired up the boat and got closer and closer to the catamaran until we could see the anchor.
It's buried under sand. Now we're over the top of it. Hurry, get back down there. Give me anxiety.
We were well within clearance. No issues getting tangled or playing bumper boats. But we did have one tiny issue. For some freak reason, our anchor came up all wonky and upside down. Fortunately, that's an easy fix.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, that went just fine. I didn't think it would be over us, and if they did, I had a plan, so we're good.
Okay. I'm glad we were facing that way. I think that was optimal positioning.
Heading out of the Anchorage for La Paz this morning, we have about 30 nautical miles to go, so it should take us about 6 hours to get there. It's a work day for me, so I'm down below on my computer, and Chris is outside trying like hell to catch us some dinner. And maybe he did.
Fish on, baby!
Fish on!
I have a good feeling about this one. It's not gonna be super bonito. Sunfish.
Dude, it's like big.
It's fighting, man.
Keep going.
Oh, okay.
It's huge. It's like you're reeling in the moon right now. I'm not kidding.
Dude, that is an epic fish.
What is it?
I don't know.
It's a gap. It's in here. Come on.
Okay, I'd like to take a beat and point out that this is the hatch to our main cabin, where we sleep. And I think we can all agree it should be kept closed when fishing. Because the travel path of blood and slime from whatever the hell this is not that far.
All right. Ready? Set?
Yeah.
Go.
Don't land in our bedroom.
Oh, go shut that.
Why is this open?
Because it's hot as balls in there.
And you're currently down there hanging out?
Get out the guide. Let's see what we got. Oh! I'm sorry, buddy, but you are gorgeous. You're a big boy.
We determined that this was a Jack Crevalle, and this fish had very mixed reviews as far as eating goes, but we did decide to give it a shot and keep him.
I smell the blood.
After being taunted by all the birds, Chris brought his fish inside to finish filleting. This was a huge yield, but we had also read that for this type of fish, the smaller ones were better eating. The bigger Jack Crevalle aren't worth the trouble. Anyway, I go back to work while Chris keeps butchering that sea cow.
There it is. There's that giant fish. That's the yield I got out of it.
Apparently, you're supposed to treat this like steak. Chris cubed it up, and we're going to let it marinate in something until we're brave enough to try it. We were coming up on the Anchorage in La Paz now, but first we'd have to enter a fairly long channel to get there.
Coming into the pause now.
Kind of. We're coming into the channel.
We're coasting in.
Nope, we're on engine power. Why do you keep saying wrong things?
God.
Coasting in.
We're just going so slow. It's like I just want to be
Going
there.
like our speed. We're actually going pretty fast. Pushing 6 knots. We're heading into the entrance of the channel. It's right up here. We're going to pass a boat called Cleopatra's Nutsack, which is weird because that's a little known fact that she had one. She kept it in her little purse next to her cat.
Oh.
Later, Cleopatra's Nutsack.
Alright, get back down below. Man this ship. Got places to be. Things to do.
In October of 2023, La Paz was hit by Hurricane Norma, and the aftermath is still floating around the channel, like this mega yacht. So let's get the quick and dirty on the Paz.
Well, we've never been here before, but it's got a big long channel that kind of like parallels the topography of the land here, and you ride all the way in, and then you have a choice. You can either head to the left, the port side as you come in, and anchor in that area, or you can head through a sand cut on the right and anchor in a different spot. We're gonna go to the left because it's closer to town. I think that's the choice, as long as it's not too terribly full. That's our plan.
Okay.
But it's got a pretty ripping current, and right now we're just about at low tide. So wherever we anchor, we'll know the lowest possible depths. Then they have this thing called the La Paz Waltz, and that's when the current shifts and your boat goes from being hanging over here and your anchor's here to going woo, like that.
Cool.
And this is the remote to our autopilot, and I can just steer from here if I wanted.
It's like a remote control car.
Yep, works just like that.
Just like that.
Except for it's a giant remote control boat. I literally, if I had a strong enough steering wheel, could do the same thing from the beach. Pretty neato.
It is very neato. We were getting closer and closer back to civilization. We had heard so much about La Paz and the well-established cruising community here. We were just itching to claim a spot in the Anchorage and head into town. Slowing it down, coming into the Anchorage now. There's the La Paz sign. Scouting. Nice calm day we're having. Should prepare us for some good anchoring conditions. I'm just trying to find a spot now. There's a lot of boats here, and we all gotta play nice with each other.
That's what we've done so far.
Just trying to find a parking spot. The Anchorage seemed pretty full, not only with cruiser boats, but also with derelict boats left over from Hurricane Norma. We drove around for about an hour looking for a decent spot. But then our friends Sam and Jessica from Mariah told us to anchor over by them, across from the naval base. So we headed in that direction. We found you! Some friends who have said this is the spot to be, over just north of them. Across from the Navy yard right there. Pretty obvious now that we see it in person. I admittedly was very disoriented and totally confused on where we were after going up and down both sides of the channel for so long, so it took us way too long to find the naval base. So, looks like we're gonna anchor here just about here. I'm loving this a lot more. Got a lot more space. Makes me feel a lot better about what we're doing. It's a little bit away from the channel, so we won't have the traffic and rolliness.
Let's just pull up just past them, and then we'll anchor back this way.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Phew, feels good to finally be dropping that hook again. We did it! Woohoo! Okay.
Probably check to see how many feet they have out, just in case, and then we should actually snub up and not be parallel with them. We should be like forward of them.
Okay. I'll ask right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. We checked in with our friends to make sure we both had enough chain out and not play bumper boats. Good on that front. Chris finished up his passage notes, and then we babysat Drifter for a while to make sure he was holding well. Then we were off to see what the town of La Paz is all about. So we're pretty eager to get off the boat. Have a lot of exploring to do, but also just kind of out of things and excited to see people again. We are all safe and secure here, and we're gonna head into town. Chris is just wrapping up a few things, and then we'll get in the dinghy and go.
All right, dude, do you feel presentable? We're back to civilization.
I do. Do I look presentable?
You look great.
Thanks.
First time in 3 weeks we're going into a place with, like, you know, actual civilization, running water.
Yeah.
Plumbing.
We get to take our trash with us.
Yeah, we have another bag, but I couldn't get it out of the thing, and then I cut my thumb right there.
You gotta bleed every day. That's how you know you're alive.
I've already bled today.
We were a little further away from the dinghy dock than we were hoping for, but it still wasn't crazy far. It was a little choppy out though, had to prepare for some unexpected turbulence. We knew the general direction of the dinghy dock, but to be fair, there were a lot of docks, so that took us a while to locate. Eventually, we made it, and left Paul with all the other dinks.
Dude, that smells so good. I smell fried food. I'm hungry. I'm excited to be here. Ready for a cold one.
First, we gotta pay the dinghy dock fee of 50 pesos and ditch our garbage.
Man, I don't think I've been this hungry in a long time. Are you hungry?
Yeah, I'm hungry. I have to eat.
Let's go get something good. I'm excited.
This is kind of the feeling I had when we arrived in Ensenada.
Really?
We're like, we've made it.
We definitely, this is like a landmark. La Paz is like a mecca, but this is way more attractive and charming so far. Plus I was already built in, gonna like it here. It would take a lot for me right now to not like it. Oh man.
So good to be here. We walked along the Malecon first, enjoying the sunset and people watching. We just couldn't get over all these dilapidated boats though. It had been 5 months since the hurricane hit, and these wrecked boats were left totally abandoned. Seeing all this made us really appreciate our decision to go north last year and haul out in Puerto Peñasco over hurricane season. After about an hour zigzagging through the streets, we quickly learned that La Paz caters heavily towards expats, people from the US and Canada living in Mexico, so the prices were definitely on the high side of what we'd experienced in the Baja. We had to keep reminding ourselves that we're still in Mexico.
And we find ourselves right back where we started.
Yeah, we did a loop for the Malecon and ended up back right next to the dinghy dock. There's
Paul.
Paul right there.
Wheels up. Cheers, sir.
The Dock Cafe's food is tasty, and the prices aren't ridiculous.
The food has arrived.
That was good. I'm starving. California burger, the salad, and fries.
I got the baguette, BLT, coleslaw,
BLT,
and fries.
huh?
Yeah.
Have we ever talked about how much Chris loves salt? But in his defense, fries usually come unsalted in Mexico. So what's an American boy to do?
Into this beast.
And just as Chris went in for a mouthful of meat,
Hi, we made it back. All of our devices died. Kelly did not like her BLT because it was dry. And it was an odd choice, especially for Mexico, I think. Sloppy getting back to the boat. La Paz's current is no joke, man. We're getting 15 knots on the beam because the current overcomes that. That's nuts. 15 knots on the beam at anchor. That's how strong the current is. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up. This is a fun evening out. Got a nice ice-cold Negro Modelo. Chef's kiss. See you tomorrow.
Things begin to change a little bit around the 3rd and 4th of March, and maybe the regular tide guy will be back by then.
this was our first time tuning into the Cruisers Net. The net is held every morning at 8:30 on channel 22, with Sunday being the exception. Topics include arrivals, departures, mail, local events, bartering, general Q&A, and of course, the weather and tides. This was also our first time experiencing the La Paz Waltz, where the current rips through the anchorage and we all dance together. It was a pretty windy one this morning, but by the early afternoon the wind died and we all calmed down. I was working today, so I'll be boat bound with my new dolphin friends. But Chris was on a mission. Chris recently caught the spearfishing bug, and since we've had such shitty luck lately with our hand lines, it made sense, from like a we need to eat and very practical standpoint, to get completely outfitted with the proper spearfishing equipment. And La Paz seemed like the perfect place to do that. Chris bought himself a spear gun, fins, a flotation marker, goggles, a knife, and a weight belt. Oh, and a shirt with a pad on the chest for loading the gun. Dude, spearfishing gear is expensive, especially here in Mexico. At just over $1,000 for all this gear, that's about 20% more than we would have paid in the States. I hope this turns out to be an investment and not just a really expensive hobby.
Since we're now in town, it's time to try out some restaurants.
Speaking of feeding ourselves, this is Taco Fish, and there are 2 locations here in La Paz, and they are always busy. And like a lot of places in Mexico, cash is king and credit cards are not.
This is going to be a good idea. So I ordered a little adventurous. First of all, I got a beer for while I wait, and a Coke to drink while I eat, because that's better. And then I got the Tacos Dorados, which is like basically a golden fried taco on both sides. And that has mantarraya, which is stingray. Yeah, and the other thing I got was pulpo enchilada or pulpo quesadilla. So that's octopus. And the last thing we got was his favorite. It's chollero with shrimp, marlin, bacon, and cheese. I mean, he's a young dude, so it's got to be delicious, right? Let's dig in and give this mantarraya a try. Really good flavor. Pretty dry, but still damn delicious. Next up is the chollero. It's got shrimp, bacon, smoked marlin, onions, peppers, juicy, delicious. My God, it's also freaking hot. Let's kind of pick it up like a taco and go to town. Oh God, that's the flavor bomb you're looking for, man. Every element of that is tasty. It's been a while since I had bacon. There's cheese. This is definitely worth getting. Taco fish. Greasy, cheesy, smoky, delicious, man. If you're in the area, this is worth the trip. I mean, even if you're in like the North American continent, it's worth coming down just for this taco. Last up is the least appetizing, but possibly the most delicious. That is the pulpo with cheese. Then you just grab it like a taco. It's good. It's got a Chef Boyardee quality to the enchilada sauce that's on there, but like in a good way. Still not as good as that last taco, but I'd put it on par with the first one, maybe a little less. Glad I ordered it. Wouldn't order it again. Wish I had 2 more of those other ones. Oh my God, that was so good. Satiated, but not full. I could eat about another 4 of these tacos, no problem. So here's a wrap up. In last place, but still decent, worth trying. With a score of 11, that is the pulpo quesadilla. Coming in at 12 points, just ahead of that would be the mantarraya dorado taco. Coming in like in first by a landslide is that chollero taco. Man, that thing was excellent. That's a solid 20. Come down and try that. As an experience, taco fish, 18. Definitely worth a stop.
Chris came home a few hours later and tried to prepare the few pieces of that Jack Crevalle he caught the other day for dinner. It was gross, we couldn't eat it. 0 stars, do not recommend.
Okay, next up, Paz Cruisers announcements. Do we have any club announcements?
After a few days in La Paz, we started falling into a routine. It's not a bad thing, it actually felt good to have a regular, normal routine for a while. This was something we hadn't experienced in quite some time, because we're constantly moving. Life in the Anchorage was pretty normal, and not all that exciting. Definitely had some fishbowl vibes here, with everyone surrounding us. Especially when doing our laundry or working out. We still have plenty to see in town though, so don't you worry. We're gonna meet a couple that we met in in Concepcion, in El Burro, right? Was El Burro?
El Burro is the beach. We went into a happy hour, and there they were, like fate.
And we found them, and then I lost their number, but then they found us, which is cool. So we're gonna go meet them for pizza tonight.
Isn't it great how connected the world is these days?
It's just kismet.
Otherwise, you have to worry about serendipitous encounters if you lose someone's contact. Are you ready to go in and eat some pizza?
I'm ready.
At the Made Pizza Bar. 4.8 on Google.
Yeah, should be delish. They made reservations for us.
They made Pizza Bar reservations.
This is a place that doesn't open until 5 o'clock.
Oh, is that an elite thing here in La Paz?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll
Can I put this in your pocket? Because it needs a charge.
How am I going to fit that in my pocket? Alright.
Garbage. Hello.
Hi, you ready? Fire it up.
Damn it, I gotta use the choke.
Come on, choke. Excellent job parking Paul.
It's Chris.
No, you parked Paul.
I know I parked, but it's Chris.
For this evening's walkabout, we're going to stroll about 25 minutes north to a more trendy and eclectic side of town. There's a lot of charm and vibrancy to this town. There are murals everywhere you look, and you can tell the businesses take pride in their curb appeal. But there's always that one house on the block that just can't keep up.
Your house fell down.
Thank God, it's not mine.
We arrived way too early for our dinner reservations, so we decided to have a cocktail at this little rooftop bar called Parker Board. We kinda screwed up though, because this is the restaurant and the bar is on the other side of the street, connected by a trolley that delivers drinks from that location to this one. Now let's get our drink on, so we can showcase how this works, you know, for educational purposes. Once we finished our drinks, we headed over to Made.
Arrived at Made.
What?
Made.
Made had some good pizza, among some other delicious Italian fare, and the night was still young, so let's keep this party going. Our friendly tour guides, Laura and Greg, were happy to make that happen. Our friends took us to this huge 2-story bar a few blocks away, called El Parnaso, and they were open till 1 a.m. I remember there being a good deal on beer, and there was a kick-ass band that played a combination of English and Spanish covers. Now let's get ready for a dinghy ride, and hope it's not too choppy out there. Knowing you have to operate a boat to get to your boat is a great way to pace your drinking. You know, like having just one glass.
We've made it back.
And Paul's still here.
And he's still here. And the water's calm and conditions are good.
And we're off. Back to Drifter.
In the
Chris,
dark.
our pilot. Captain, my captain.
I'm tired.
I can tell. We got lucky this time. The channel was very calm and there was no wind to speak of. This made for a really pleasant ride home.
We're almost there. There's the butt. All right, let's get locked and loaded.
Stay tuned for this week's blooper reel, sponsored by our patrons, Kathy and Ron. Thanks, guys!
Anyway, we're back. We're live. We're not live. We're live right now.
Smells like shit here.
No, it doesn't.
You're right, it's not shit, it's just like dead fish and where dreams die.
Where dreams die?
That's what it smells like.
What are we doing?
I'm standing.
We're gonna go meet
I look
some
tan.
new friends.
I have developed a tan in reaction to the sunshine in Mexico.